However, the above theory, which is absolute, and explanation presented is not satisfactory. Hence, recently there is some modification which is done by Reynolds and the Mason, and they have proposed. So, according to this theory, these thunderclouds, which are developed at a height of around 1 to 2 kilometers above the ground level, and maybe extended up to 12 to 14 kilometers above the ground. So there is an 0 degrees Celsius which is takes place at 4 kilometer from the ground, and maybe reaches around of minus 50 degrees Celsius at a height of 12 kilometers. So when the water droplets which is reaches at 0 degrees Celsius, they want to freeze, and this freezing process will take place at minus 40 degree Celsius, and there is a formation of the solid crystals, and which is going to develop and grow. So thus this uh, effective freezing, which we can see in the between of minus 33 degrees Celsius to the minus 40 degree Celsius. So when this the water droplets in the thunderclouds are blown up by air currents and get super cooled over a range of height and temperature. It means that so that we understood. Uh, so these are the things ground, and the cloud ranges. It may be of 2 kilometers to that 12 to 14-kilometer range. We are talking. There is an effective freezing which is going to take place at 33 degree to 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is a region where there is the formation of the crystalline will take places. So when there is a such freezing takes place at a temperature of minus 33 to minus 50 degrees Celsius. So there is a growing of mm, the crystal in a large masses, and due to this weight and the gravitation forces will start moving downwards. Means that so whenever these the crystals means these are the water droplets which are moving from ground to the cloud. So let's see, consider it is a minus 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so because of this again there is a combine. So this is nothing but the temperature is very low. So these clouds, because of this gravitation forces, what they will do, this will start moving from a cloud to the ground. Okay, because of the weight which is having, mm, so resulting there is a crystal formations and start moving downwards. So thus there is a thunder cloud which is consisting of a super cooled water droplets which is moving. Okay, these are the super cooled droplets which are moving upwards, and these are the hailstones. Okay, so this is nothing but we can call it as super cooled hailstones, and super cooled water droplets which are moving in opposite direction. Okay, and a large hailstones is nothing but we call it as alikallu. Okay, so hailstones which are moving downwards. So this when the upward moving super cold water droplets, which is these are the things. Okay, droplet which is acting on the hailstones, and it is start partially, it means it start a freezes partially. So that is nothing but outer layer of the water droplets freezes, forming a shell with the water inside. So how we need to understand this concept? Okay, Mm, so here if you're considering that uh, so these are all the things, hailstone which are moving downwards, and super cold water which moving upwards. So resultly if you consider this is the area. Okay, so outermost layer. Okay, this is what, which is formation of the crystals. Inside of this is a water. Okay, W water, and this is nothing but we can consider it is a crystalline like a structure. Okay, so you can consider this is there. Okay, So this is the W, water, the content, okay, and this is nothing but ice crystals, okay, ice. So it means that inside this is the chamber which you are considering, or the cloud. Inside is what contains the water, and the outermost cell which is consisting of there is a the ice crystals. So this is nothing but so that we understood upward moving super partially. So when this process of the cooling which is going to extend with the okay with okay, so this is nothing but the process of the cooling which is going to extend to the inside of the water in the core, which is nothing but inside the core which is considered water, and this is nothing but the crystal means they start freezing. So resulting it expands. So thereby resulting in what we can see, there is a splintering and the spraying of these ice cells. So this is not splintering is nothing but we can call it as rain. This is the resulting in the formation of rain, and which is falling on the ground. Okay, these splinters are being in fine size and are moved up by the air currents. Means because these are the smaller in weight, so this is nothing but a larger air current which is moving from ground to the ground. This will carry upwards, and resulting in there is a net positive charge to the upper region of the cloud. It is nothing but, if you're considering that, so this is a cloud of having the polarity of a positive, okay, because these are the larger air current which are moving, okay, these are larger air current which are blown upwards, so this will carry the positive polarity, so that cloud will have the positive polarity, okay. So hence thus there is a formation of the negative charge which is going to build up in the bottom of the cloud. Means that this is the cloud we are considering, that this is upper portion is the positive and the lowermost portion is the negative polarity. But the thing is, according to this uh, the Mason, so the formation of the splinter should carry only of by positive charge upwards. Mean what it says that because of only of the positive polarity which is going to move upwards, so water which is in the ionic in nature, which is having the concentration of hydrogen and the oxygen ions, means which are having the negative polarity. So these density mainly depending upon the temperature. So these that's nothing but thus in an ice lab, this is nothing but we are considering ice lab. So with an upper and the lower surface temperature at T1 and the T2. That's nothing but T1 is small compared to the T2. So resulting in there will be an higher concentration of the ions in the regions. So hence the hydrogen ions are much lighter and they will be diffused much faster all over the volume. So there's nothing but therefore what we can understand is the lower portion which is warmer will have a net a negative charge density, and hence there is upper portion that is nothing but a cooler region will have a net positive charge density. This is nothing but what we understood. Okay, the same thing is going to explain that. So earlier what we understood is because of these air currents having the negative and this will carry the positive. So same way this is the cloud if we are considering this the positive and the negative polarity. So hence it might be appreciated that uh, the outer cells of the frozen water droplets. So this will be coming in contact with the hailstones by a relative cooler, and therefore will acquire a positive charge. So resulting in there is a splinter and which is carried by the upward direction of the positive polarity. So, so this is nothing but the same what we understood the concept of positive and the negative polarity. Okay. So according to this Reynolds theory, which is based on the experiment results, So Hale packets, okay, this will get negatively charged when they are impinged by warmer ice crystals. So when the temperature conditions are reversed, the charging polarity which is going to reverse. So this is nothing but it is basically he speaks that the inside the cloud having the positive of the uppermost, this is the uppermost region of positive polarity, and negative polarity at the bottommost regions. This is what he is speaking. So there is a change the reverse polarity which is going to take places. So however, this extent of the charging and consequently the rate of the charge generation was found to be disagree with the practical observation, so resulting into the thunderclouds. Okay, means what we are applying relating to thunderclouds. So this type of the phenomenon also occurs in the thunderclouds. So no other theory which is going to explain this phenomenon, and it is very difficult to understand that what is the temperature reason and all those things. We don't have any such a sophisticated devices to conduct this experiment. So this is the only theoretical experiment. A lot of work which is going to happen, which is going to um, which is going to explain the formation, how actually there is a thundercloud. Just we should understand that what is the temperature, okay, all those things. There is a crystal formation. So in other words, simple words, we can say that. So this is a formation of the cloud inside the, which is containing of the water, and outermost which is a crystalline structure. So resulting in the what is it? The weight of the water droplet which is going to increasing. So because of the gravitational force which is moving downwards, so resulting there is a formation of splinters. So this theory is not going to explain that how actually there is a lighting phenomenon which is going to explain. Next we should understand that what is the rate of the charging of the thunderclouds. So according to that, the Martians we consider that the thunderclouds, which is consisting of the uniform mixture of the both the positive and the negative charges. If you considering this, okay, the cloud. So this is the cloud. So it should have some both the positive, okay, and the negative polarity. So then only it could be able to neutralize. Otherwise, if there is a change of polarity, so discharge which is going to take place, okay. So due to this hailstones and air current, hailstones is nothing but which are moving, okay, and the air currents what we understood from ground to the cloud, okay. These are the high air currents which are moving at a speed of around 300 centimeters per second, okay, and these are separates vertically, okay. This is vertical in direction. So if we are considering this, this is a lambda factor, okay, lambda, which is mainly depending upon the conductivity of the medium between, okay, conductivity of the medium, uh, and there will be a resistive leakage of the charge from the electric field which is going to build up, because whatever the discharge phenomenon which is going to take place is not immediately. So there is some resistance which is present between a cloud or the medium, whatever the medium existing between a cloud and the ground or between the clouds, and this should be taken into a consideration while discussing the rate of charge of thunder clouds. So let's consider in that E is the electric field intensity and V is the velocity of the separation of the charges, and rho is the charge density of the cloud. So hence the electric field intensity is nothing but E, which is given by differentiation with respect to dE by dt plus lambda, the factor which we are considering is equal to rho E. So hence we will get the equation E is equal to rho E lambda, okay, 1 minus exponential minus alpha t. So this equation, which is assuming that initially electric field intensity is 0 and the time of the discharge is 0, means there is at the starting point of the charge separation, there is no separation which is going to take place at the initially. Then we have to calculate what is the charge which is separated uh, uh, charge which is separated, okay, and can be generated the charge. So then rho is equal to qg by ah, okay, and E is nothing but as divided by A into epsilon naught value. So where epsilon naught is the permittivity of the medium, whatever the medium we have, like air is the medium or another other medium, and A is the cloud of the area which we are considering, that what we discussed, that it is mainly depending upon the height, around 2 to 1 to 2 kilometers to the 12 to 14 kilometers of the height, and having the radius, and h is the height of the charge which we are considering that. So this is the resulting of the equation we'll get, okay. Qg is equal to m divided by v into 1 minus exponential value of minus for sorry lambda t, okay. So where m is nothing but we are considering electric moment of the thunderstorm, okay, q into qs into s h, and the average value which is observed for the thunderclouds are the time constant is of the 20-second, and the electric movement which you are considering is 110 coulombs kilometer, and at the time of the first lightning. What do you mean by the time of the first lightning? So that's nothing but if this is the cloud, okay, and the ground, and there is a media between these two, if you're considering a tall tower of the tree, okay. So there is a step ladder, okay, which is exit. So the point of the contact which you're considering step ladder, this is a too many number of the branch it will have, okay, like this is a one branch and this is another branch we have, okay, this is the next branches we have. So this is the time to a first flash over, okay, means this is going to reach to the ground, okay. This is the another ladder, this is another ladder, this is the first okay, sorry. So what we consider is okay, this is the first a lightning flash over which is going to appear at say, a time of 20-second, and if we are considering what is the velocity of the separation of the charges, will be around 10 to 20 hertz per second, okay. So according to this, by substituting these values, so we'll get a qz is equal to you will get around 1000 coulombs for the voltage of 20 minutes per second. So according to this theory and the observations of the Reynolds, what we understand, and will give the value of around 5 into 10 to the power of minus 9 ESU per crystals of the impact for the temperature which is around 5 degrees Celsius. And the Mason's theory, which is, seems to have giving a much higher values, and yet it explain the phenomenon satisfactorily. So means that what are the values which you are considering, that so which is within the limitations.